Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the number one way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
This podcast is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find other great shows on the network, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
This podcast is hosted by Buzzsprout. Podcasting isn't hard when you have the right partners. The team at Buzzsprout is passionate about helping you succeed. Join over 100,000 podcasters already using Buzzsprout to get their message to the world. If you want an upgrade, Buzzsprout has tons of guides to help you find exactly what you need. We use Buzzsprout and it's a game changer for us. An all-new analytics system helps us track who's listening to our show and where they're listening to it. If you'd like to use Buzzsprout as well, follow the link in our show notes to buzzsprout.com. And while you're there, let them know that Films and Fermentation sent you. Hey everybody, welcome to Films and Fermentation, episode 136. That's right, we are Films and Fermentation, a movie and alcohol podcast. I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
We're three friends who like to talk shit about movies while getting shit-faced. This episode tonight, we do the unthinkable. We're going to revisit the recasting couch for episode 136 and recast a legendary 1939 classic, The Wizard of Oz.
No. Some people may hear this and think we haven't got a brain. Some people may hear this and think we haven't got a heart. And some people may hear this and think, damn, you guys got balls.
Yeah, I was going to say, we are not cowardly lions at all tonight, as we are recasting a film that probably should never be recasted. But we're going to do it.
They will.
Don't forget, you can email us at filmsandfermentation@gmail.com or visit linktree.com/filmsandfermentation to find all of our social media and podcast links. Become part of the Films and Fermentation family by joining us on Patreon and supporting the show, or buying our merchandise at teespring.com. Mike and I are both sporting some of the merch tonight. You can see that on the YouTube channel.
I will not show you my shirt tonight.
We are now part of the Deluxe Edition Network, The Den. If you'd like to know more about our podcasts or any other podcast on the Deluxe Edition Network, visit us at deluxeeditionnetwork.com. What are we drinking this evening, gentlemen? I know Mike's got the boring drink tonight, so Mike, you want to explain your situation?
I'm on call again. So that means I'm drinking tea.
Mike has one of those jobs where occasionally he's on call and he can't drink when he's on call. Kevin and I have a job that gave us off already tomorrow because we have a snowstorm heading towards the East Coast. And so we are both drinking.
A blizzard, Auntie, I'm a blizzard.
My job, we have a meeting tomorrow morning, a full company meeting, and they've already booked the place and can't cancel. Because we got an email saying they can't cancel it for tomorrow.
They've already ordered the band and set up the catering. They cannot cancel.
They cannot cancel because next week the place will not be available due to construction.
So
So
Kev,
I'm
since you and I
driving
are
to
drinking.
Downingtown.
Oh no, it's terrible. You can't drink, and you got to drive to far out in shitty weather.
Yes.
Kev, what are you drinking tonight?
Would you stop, dog?
I never heard of that. What craft brewery is that from?
Would you stop, dog?
Mm-hmm.
Dogfish it. Hold on one second. Sorry. Thank you.
Editing that out.
That makes them interesting, watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
I muted the microphone for it. So I am working my way through the beers. My good friend Leo brought me back from Warhorse Brewing in Finger Lakes.
Bless you.
And tonight I am going to start off with No Strings Attached, which is a Belgian white brewed with orange, cranberry, and spice.
Shouldn't you be drinking that one during our Pinocchio recast?
Are we recasting Pinocchio? No Strings Attached? Oh, that would be good. That's a really good one. Oh my God, dog. Sorry. It's not sawing you here. It's my dog.
For those of you listening out there in podcast land, Kevin has a puppy named Molly who has all ears and a lot of energy.
Yes. And she likes it. And you know what I don't get? Megan's downstairs comfortably sitting on the couch watching a show. And every week so far, for 3 weeks at least, she comes up with me during the podcast just to dig underneath the desk.
I can hear her digging.
Yes. The new microphone, you can hear everything.
Digging it up. So I figured since we were recasting Wizard of Oz tonight, I was going to try to do a Wizard of Oz themed drink. And there were a lot of different drinks out there, but nothing I really felt like making. So I decided instead of doing a Wizard of Oz cocktail, I'm just going to do a drink that will help take me over the rainbow myself. And so I have a gin here that my good friend Mike gave me from Moonrise Distillery. It is Georgia Artisan Gin. It is a small batch, which means that it's overproof. This is 47% alcohol by volume, so 94 proof. Mike, I had a shot of this the other night, and I felt really good. And that was just one shot. And
well, it's good because it's sealed with wax.
Well, it's good too. And remember when you first gave it to me, I was pounding it, and I was like, I didn't realize how strong it was. So I'm drinking it tonight because I know that it'll help me rise to the occasion. So I'm pouring it now. Pouring it now because I'm classy. I'm a classy guy. I poured it right into the Sprite that I got from Chick-fil-A earlier. So I'm mixing it now because right now it's like Sprite and gin, so it's about half and half inside in this giant cup that I have. So
put that pinky up.
Man, that is strong. That is a strong smelling gin. Tasty. Mike, what happened this week in film history?
This week in film history.
So for the third week in a row, I hijacked Mike's segment by throwing one in there on my own. And we don't normally give birthday shout outs to celebrities, but I'm doing this one because this celebrity is on my Mount Rushmore of the record. Happy 76th birthday to John Carpenter. That's all.
Started off strong, but didn't die there.
Yeah, it keeps doing it. I don't know. What's your next one you got there?
In 1961, the first episode of the Dick Van Dyke Show was filmed.
Dick Van Dyke Show is actually a pretty funny show, considering the time period in which it was filmed.
Yep.
What the
man could trip over an ottoman like nobody else.
You know what the controversy was in that show when it first aired?
No.
Mary Tyler Moore would often be wearing pants instead of like dresses and skirts and stuff like women normally wore. She was a modern woman. And the last one you got there, Mike.
In 1994, British comedy Four Weddings and a Funeral, written by Richard Curtis, starring Hugh Grant, premieres at the Sundance Film Festival.
One of my wife's favorite films, romantic comedies. I can tolerate it. It's not one that I dislike. It's, I can't watch it as much as she likes to watch it. It introduced the world to foppish romantic lead Hugh Grant.
And that was early in his career. He was still like stumbling. His whole routine was like a bumbling idiot kind of thing.
It was it was the like befuddled Englishman.
Yep. And then he met Miss Brown and took a break for a bit. And when he came back, he had gained confidence and lost his speech impediment.
It's the most mind-boggling story in Hollywood history when you're married to Elizabeth Hurley and cheat on her with a hooker. And not even an attractive one. And then, just in case you're wondering, does Elizabeth Hurley still look good? Yes, she does. She's 63 years old and has launched a brand new bikini line that she models herself on Instagram. And she looks phenomenal. So she's one of those Hollywood vampires.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mike, you have a must-try beer craft destinations for us this evening.
I have a must-try beer for you, boys. Charlie Hustle IPA.
Charlie Hustle. He rose.
Charlie Hustle.
From Mason Ale Works, San Marcos, California. Heavy pine hops, dark caramel malt, and toffee at a hearty 6.8 ABV make the most robust IPA experience. Moderate carbonation means there isn't much foam atop this dark red hazy ale. The heavy malt are the most on par with the porter, but the hops are equally forceful. And while there is a nice heft to the palate, mouthfeel, there really isn't anything in the way of sweetness to bolster. There you go.
All right. So
Charlie
I know everybody out there is waiting for the next segment, our favorite segment, Synopsis According to Glip. But unfortunately, I was unable to acquire a Glip synopsis this week. It happens sometimes. Occasionally, I wait too long to pull the synopsis and they erase it on me. So we do not have a synopsis according to Glip this week. Instead, we have a brand new segment that we're trying out for the first time. Kevin will be presenting this segment for us. It is called Beer News. Hold on, I'll do this again. This segment is called Beer News is Good News.
That's right, gentlemen. Beer news is good news.
Go for it, sir. What's your beer news?
This week in beer news, Governor Phil Murphy just recently relieved restrictions on New Jersey craft breweries. On Tuesday, he signed a bill that would give brewery owners a little more latitude to plan events, to allow the customers easier access to food. So now, if you're in New Jersey, and many of us are, you will have remembered that not too long ago, they had put the kibosh on things like food trucks or food service outside of breweries. They could only, I think the restrictions on events were limited to like once a month, maybe. And now breweries can serve coffee, soft drinks, and they're not going to have to check with the state about any of that stuff. They're able to coordinate with food trucks and restaurants in their townships. Oh my gosh, that's all. They are going to be able to hold events, unlimited events. There's no reason to, no limitations to them. And just kind of like alleviating some of the red tape that breweries were kind of faced with during these recent years. So good news. And as we say in our industry, good news, beer news is good news. This is actually really good, since considering like over this past week, I heard of 3 breweries that were kind of like going the way of the dodo. one not too far from us, Forgotten Boardwalk, has had issues with their actual establishment, so they're not going to be hanging around much longer. Flying Fish had to file for bankruptcy, and one that's in Collingswood, which was Devil's Creek, is departing, but that's being replaced with it's being replaced with this a tasting room from one in Swedesboro Brewing, which my wife and I have tried out not too long ago, and they have some really good stuff. Actually, there's a wax capped bottle in our refrigerator right now, which I know we were saving to caramelize. So we may try that tomorrow. So, and amidst all this sad news among breweries recently, this is a breath of fresh air. Back to you, Leo.
That was Beer News is Good News. Now, since I wasn't able to do a glip tonight, Beer News is Good News is brought to you by Newsly.me. Newsly.me is an audio super app for iOS and Android that reads the news to you in a natural human voice. Stop scrolling, start listening, go to Newsly.me today, use the promo code MPerment, and get your first month premium subscription for free. We're going to take a short break and play some promos from some of our podcast friends. But when we come back, we're going into our main segment, doing the unthinkable, folks, recasting The Wizard of Oz from 1939. We'll be right back.
Bev's Video Kingdom.
Because the movies won't talk about themselves.
So Andy crawls through this river of shit. He comes out, visits a dozen banks, and no one's like, I'm a little concerned about the guy in the suit.
Right.
It smells like shit.
You mean the guy that literally washed himself in a river full of shit and is supposed to smell good?
Dude, that's completely the Mallrats stink palm, which takes like 3 or 4 days to wash off.
Oh, last time I scratched my ass, it smelled like Bigfoot's dick for a week.
Bev's Video Kingdom. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Have you ever watched the news and wished that you could see something more positive, or looked online and saw all the aggravation and anger and hatred out there and thought to yourself, why can't I just see more positive things in my life? Hi, I'm Mike Rathbun, and I'm the host of the Kindness Matters podcast. Every week, we promise to bring you stories that will uplift you and motivate you and inspire you to see the kindness and be the kindness that this world needs more of. Tune in, the Kindness Matters podcast with me, your host, Mike Rathbun.
All right, we are back from our short break. Thank you for staying with us. We're going into our main segment now. We are recasting the classic film from 1939, The Wizard of Oz, originally starring Judy Garland as Dorothy, and a host of other actors from the 30s and 40s as all the other characters. I could give you the names, but I don't remember off the top of my head, and I forgot to pull up the IMDb on it. So we're going to be moving on. What we are recasting are what we decided were the 7 main characters of the film. So we are recasting the witches. That would be the Wicked Witch of the West and Glinda the Good Witch. The wizards himself, we are recasting. The Cowardly Lion, the Tin Man, and the Scarecrow, which are Dorothy's 3 companions on the
Toto.
adventure. And do we have to recast Toto? I think Toto was perfect. I don't think you can recast Toto. And of course, we're going to be recasting Dorothy. The only characters we are not recasting are the aunt and uncle that we meet at the beginning, and the Munchkins, because there's far too many of them, and we already decided that every Munchkin is going to be played by Deep Roy anyway. So,
and the Wicked Witch of the East. She had a very short role.
Yeah. So we will be starting then. We're going to go from the bottom to the top. So we're going to start with the Wicked Witch of the West.
Ooh.
I don't remember who went first the last time we did one of these segments. So, do anybody want to volunteer to go first? Or
why don't we do it age order, and then we'll cycle through for each one that we do.
So are we going oldest to youngest? Because then Mike will go first.
That works. Yeah.
Okay.
Age before beauty.
Age before beauty. Go ahead, old guy.
So for the Wicked Witch of the West, I'm going to cast Lena Headey.
Lena Headey. Ooh, he's going with Cersei for the Witch.
Yeah.
I am.
That's a good one. I didn't even think of that one.
No, that is good. She can play a bitch very well.
I was gonna say she kind of plays. She's the Wicked Witch of Westeros.
Nice.
So, I mean, that kind of is very fit. That's a good one. That's a really, really good one. I had trouble with this because I was thinking like the actress who played the Wicked Witch in the original film was scary and kind of ugly, and I'm like, there really aren't many actresses nowadays that I would describe in that fashion. And you don't want your Wicked Witch to be like beautiful. Like they tried doing that with Mila Kunis in the Oz thing that with James Franco, and it's like your Wicked Witch thing. This is supposed to look like Mila Kunis.
Yeah, but they got enough. They got enough, stuff now that they can make. They make Charisse Theron look like shit.
Yeah, I know. If you can do that, you can do anything.
You can do
what was that one girl that was on The Witcher? She played Yennefer. Remember her in the first season?
Oh, when they made her the hunchback and all that, and then all of a sudden she became one of the most beautiful women in the world.
Exactly.
Yeah. So they can do that. They can make anybody.
You know what? Even when she was a hunchback, she was still pretty attractive. I mean,
she can Quasimodo.
Yeah. What hump?
What hump?
Getting off the rails already.
Dude, I already downed half of my giant Sprite from Chick-fil-A that I half filled with the.
We haven't even got through the first character yet.
So I'm pretty sure by the end I will be slurring. So what I was saying was I had trouble with this, but I figured, you know what? I'm overthinking this. There's an easy name you can throw out for this because she's already played quirky, weird characters and scary characters, and she's kind of known for it. So my Wicked Witch of the West is Helena Bonham Carter.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
and we know she can sing. She did the Sweeney Todd film. So, and I didn't. I should put that up as an addendum to this. I didn't pick all my actors because I thought they could sing. I wasn't worried.
And there's something I got to mention is none of my actors or actresses are picked with the idea that they can sing. Mine were just based off. Yeah,
my main four can.
Your main four can. I didn't really worry about that too much because I figured you'd always do like a lip sync thing,
Right. And look, sometimes actors and actresses can surprise you. Look at Moulin Rouge and La La Land. Those are actors and actresses. Nobody was really like, oh yeah, they're known for their singing voice, but they really carried it off. So I don't know.
Yeah, so that's why I kind of went with Helena Bonham Carter because I kind of compared the character from Sweeney Todd to this one a little bit. It kind of fit for me there.
That's a good call.
She also played Bellatrix Lestrange, so she was a witch already. So, Kev, who did you end up going with?
I went with somebody who's already been green. We've seen her green.
We've already been.
We appreciate her green.
Okay. Oh my God! Wait. Did you go with Tatiana Maslany?
No. Oh,
I thought it was the girl played She-Hulk.
But you're in the right universe. If you know what I'm saying.
Zoe.
I went with Zoe. I went with Zoe Saldana.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting choice.
Yeah, I figured, she we've seen her as the angry Gilmora. We've seen her green, and I really think she could pull that off.
And we haven't seen her ugly, so like Mike said, you really got to ugly her up. Not an easy task. So Mike went with Lena Headey, who is already played the Wicked Witch of Westeros. I went with Helena Bonham Carter, who has already proven herself as both a singer and a witch. And Kevin went with Zoe Saldana because we've already seen her green.
It looks like Molly got kicked out.
Molly left. Gone. No more digging, doggy.
No.
Molly left.
She's downstairs. She left and I closed the door.
I have to say, I think this is a pretty strong start.
I think it is.
We all came up with some pretty good ones for the Wicked Witch of the West. So then the next one would be Glinda the Good Witch. So this is the one that helps Dorothy out when she first lands in Oz, and tells her to follow the yellow brick road and all that stuff. And so Mike went first in this one. How about I'll go first, then Kev, then Mike, and we'll kind of rotate around.
Yep.
Yeah.
So for this one, Glinda the Good Witch. Again, I came up with mine pretty quickly, and once I came up with this, I was like, you know what? I'm not changing it. I'm not going to think about it anymore. I'm not worrying about if they could sing, because Glinda really doesn't have much of a singing part anyway.
No.
So I went with somebody who is beautiful, who I think has the temperament to play this type of character, who is a redhead, which I love anyway. And I like putting her in my movies, so I went with Jessica Chastain as my Glinda.
I can see that. That's good.
I think she's kind of in the age range of the actress who played her as well in the original. So that would be Kevin then.
For mine, I was trying to look at a balance between the Wicked Witch of the West and Glinda. And I was struggling. This was the one I had not filled in until I got home and talked it over with my wife, and she put something out there which really kind of worked. I chose Quinta Brunson from Abbott Elementary.
From Abbott Elementary. She just won the Emmy. Best actor.
Yes. She's not, like classic, beautiful, whatever, but I think if you look at the dynamic between the Wicked Witch of the West and Glinda, it kind of works. She's got a comedic thing, and you can kind of put that in there, especially if this is going to be a new age of Wizard of Oz anyway. Throw some comedy in there.
So far. That's a good one. That's a what do you call it? Out of the box one. She's somebody I think that, considering the success she's had with Abbott Elementary lately and winning the Emmy and everything, she's probably somebody you're going to be seeing more of anyway, and possibly in movies and stuff too.
Yep.
So then that leaves Mike.
So I went with somebody that could play with the chipper attitude like Glinda has, and I fell on this one pretty easy. I went with Kristen Bell.
Yay, perfect. He's a really good one.
That works.
I think if we had been casting this 10 to 15 years ago, I would have made Kristen Bell my Dorothy. But I think given the fact that she's probably, 40 now, she's probably close to around our age,
right.
that she fits the Glinda
She's
role.
that old?
She's around the same age as Jessica Chastain is. So
she's around the same age as Kate Beckinsale.
Kate Beckinsale's around our age. Kate Beckinsale's 48.
Oh, so you're saying she's my age?
Your age. I ever tell you that story from Kevin? He had just finished watching. Was it the third Underworld film or whatever it was, or one of the Underworld sequels that she was in? And I said to him, how was it, man? I want to see it. And he's like, I was all right. He goes, dang, Kate Beckinsale's starting to look her age, though. And I went, our age? She's the same age as us, dude. She looks way better than I do right now. I got teeth falling out. She's so fucking hot. Right. So that is Glinda the Good Witch. That brings us to the Wizard. So Kev will go first, and then me. I'm kind of glad I'm going last on this one because I'm really excited about my pick.
Where did I start? Because I switched him up. I had somebody there. Okay, all right. I'm going to go with who I went with, but then I'll give you my runner up. But I had to change for obvious reasons. Okay. I picked John Hamm.
Interesting.
Right?
I like that one.
He's not young, but he's not old. He's dynamic. I think seeing him as Michael in Good Omens,
I was
kind of putting him into that mentality of having an omnipotent, being, even though the wizard really isn't. But I saw that and I was like, that could work. I could imagine them going and pulling back the curtain and him being like, oh. Hello. No, don't pay any attention to that man. I see him doing that. My runner-up was Anthony Hopkins. And I thought, he's a little too old, a little too long.
A little too scary, too. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Bring me her broomstick and a nice Chianti.
The John Hamm I like is so John Hamm after Mad Men, like he could have made a career of just playing Don Draper type characters the rest of his life.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of like getting typecast, like he decided to kind of go out there and try different things. So like he was in Baby Driver, where he played a thief and a murderer.
Yep.
Then he was in Good Omens, which showed that he could be comedic as well. He's really funny in the second season, especially.
I think he was in Bridesmaids too. Yeah,
he was in Bridesmaids. That was another comedic role. So I mean, he's like stretched himself a little bit as far as like he's good looking, but he doesn't take himself too seriously. Kind of.
Right.
I like that. Yeah, I think that's a good choice for the Wizard. Mike, who do you have? Although I do like the Anthony Hopkins if you were doing like a really like Return to Oz type Wizard.
When I think about the Wizard, I think of an old carny type guy or snake oil salesman guy, and that just shouts Bruce Campbell to me.
And it's funny because John Hamm is like the modern day Bruce Campbell to me. he's falling into that category.
Give me some sugar, Dorothy.
Yeah. Klaatu, Harada, Nikto.
Because he has the comedy chops, and he has he can be serious when he needs to be, but he can do that whole don't pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Did you see the Doctor Strange in Multiverse of Madness?
Yes.
He has the little cameo in there as the hot dog salesman. And he takes a punch himself for 2 weeks. I think it's based on his cameos in like the Spider-Man films and stuff. Like,
that was Sam Raimi too. He did Doctor Strange in the Multiverse, right?
Yeah, it was Sam Raimi, and Bruce Campbell's his guy. He did all the Evil Dead films and shit.
Yeah,
I think that'd be kind of funny. So, my guy, totally not your two guys. Not just in acting style, but in appearance as well. I decided I wanted to mix this up a little bit, and I thought it'd be really comical and kind of fun if our wizard was kind of like the Munchkins himself. So my wizard is Peter Dinklage.
I figured you were going Peter Dinklage.
I think
that's an
really
interesting
cool
take on it, though. One of the Munchkins actually being the wizard, and
not that he's a Munchkin, but because he's a little person. I just thought it was kind of funny to have this giant floating head that's always screaming at the main characters, and then you're led to believe that it's this big amazing thing, and then all of a sudden it's Peter Dinklage. I kind of think of like Endgame where he plays the giant.
Yeah, Peter Dinklage can be intimidating. Come on.
Oh no, absolutely. And I think just adding that element to the story, I mean, it'll change the element, like the book, but like having him who was, and this isn't because he's a little person, is just as like the wizard should be a Munchkin from Munchkinland who moved on and made something of himself and became this grandiose thing, just like you don't know where the people of Oz come from, and that would just be an interesting turn.
Well, I was also thinking in terms of like his analog character in Dorothy's real world is Professor Marvel, the traveling circus magician guy, and I'm like, it would make sense for somebody like Peter Dinklage to be part of the circus in the story takes place in.
The con man, the snake oil salesman, the whole
snake oil salesman, but also like. As a little person, he would have been like a carny type anyway.
Yeah, carny guy.
Yeah.
But I thought it was just an interesting little little curveball on it.
That's good.
We all went with the carny thought.
The carny thought, yeah. My wife, I will say, agreed with all my picks except for Dorothy. So we'll keep that one in mind. I did have as a runner-up for the Wizard, because again, it's another person I'd love to throw into my movie casts is Donald Glover.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like Donald Glover could fucking do anything, so I'm like, I just throw him into everything. So. All right, so that brings us to the Cowardly Lion.
Yes, it does.
And it's back to me again, right?
No, back to Mike.
Or back to Mike, I'm sorry. So Mike's first, then me, and then Kev.
Yep.
And so the toughest part I had with this was my 3 traveling companions
Mhm.
are kind of, it could be interchangeable, depends upon how you want to look at it.
I had the same thing with mine too.
So, and this one, I went with the one that kind of looked more the character, could sing, and has a little bit of comedy chops in him for it. I went with Ewan McGregor.
Okay.
As the Cowardly Lion.
As the Cowardly Lion.
Hello there.
Interesting choice.
If I were king of the jungle. Not
this. This is probably the one that I went through the most changes on before settling on who I settled on. I originally went with Nathan Lane because I know he's a comedic actor. He could sing, and I feel like he fits the profile. But he's also a little bit older now, so I thought, okay, well, let's go with somebody who's kind of similar to that. So I went with Zach Galifianakis next. And I was like, I don't know. I feel like I use him all the time when I'm trying to fill a comedic role. And then I was like, why don't I change it up a little bit? Why don't I make it a different gender? And so I went with Melissa McCarthy next. Because I thought I could fill that role. And she just did Ursula and the Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking, but then you'd have to change it to like Queen of the Forest. And I was like, you know what? No, fuck it. I'm going with a completely different direction to diversify my cast. And also because I want to have this guy in all my movies anyway. So instead of making him the Wizard, I make Donald Glover the Cowardly Lion. Because Donald Glover can
That's a good call. I see him being very suave, like Lando.
You're going Jack Black.
You know?
I can see him like doing the suave thing as a way of hiding the cowardly thing.
Right. But like putting that on bravado out there is like, I can do it. I can fight you with one hand behind my back, you know.
He can rap if I were King of the Forest.
What's his name? Little Gamboni or
it's Childish Gambino.
Childish Gambino.
Do you know how he came up with the rap name Childish Gambino?
No.
He went on one of those websites where they generate rap names for you. And that's how he came up with it. So who's your Cowardly Lion there, Kev?
I also went through a process. I think you and I went through the same process, but I stopped after the second one. I went with Zach Galifianakis. You know, and then I see clips of Between Two Ferns. I think of him in The Hangover. You know, he can play that, you know, that he puts up a front, but he's actually very sensitive, especially from The Hangover where, you know, he just wants to be liked by everybody. So I was like, yeah, that kind of works. I could see him being the Cowardly Lion.
You know what's better than Between Two Ferns? It's the bloopers from Between Two Ferns. Where he like says something and cracks him, goes, "My God, that was so mean." But yeah, I had the same thing. Like, you know, just thinking of his character in The Hangover made me think of him for this. Okay, so that moves us to, we're going to do the Tin Man next, correct?
Did Caesar really stay here?
So if you want to go in the order we're supposed to go, we're going with the Tin Man next. So that's me then, right?
That's you.
Okay. For the Tin Man, I wanted somebody who could sing, who can dance, and who was a little bit on the younger side. I originally was going to go with like Paul Rudd, but I wasn't sure about any of the things I just mentioned. So I just said I wanted to go younger anyway. So I went with Skylar Astin, who is probably best known for his role as Jesse in the Pitch Perfect films. He's the guy that plays Anna Kendrick's boyfriend.
Yeah. I see that.
He can sing, he can dance. He's on the younger side, and I think he has the correct like mood to play somebody like the Tin Man, who's like kind of sad but happy to have companions and looks forward to having a heart and all that. So that was my pick, Skylar Astin.
Okay.
So that goes to
my choice for this was actually a Tin Man for this was actually a Tin Man in the Star Wars universe. I'm sure you guys know where I'm going with this. It was Anthony Daniels. No,
I said Timothy Oliphant because he was the sheriff. You're going with Anthony Daniels?
No, I'm going with Alan Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk.
Yes.
Listen, Alan Tudyk is the national treasure, and I would say yes to any role you want to give him in The Wizard of Oz. He would be a good wizard, too.
He would be a good wizard.
He would be a really good wizard.
He would be King Candy of the wizard.
I think he would be perfect lion.
Everybody here, we can just do it this way.
You would hit a guy with glasses, would you? You hit a guy with glasses.
I see what you did there. Go find the Wicked Witch of the West and take a broomstick.
I would actually be more entertained if his wizard was like his alien character from Resident Alien.
Oh, Jesus.
Mike, what were you saying?
I would think he would play a good lion, though.
Alan Tudyk?
Yeah.
Alan Tudyk would be good in any role except for maybe Dorothy. Like he would be a
Don't
Tin
put
Man.
it past him. He's a leaf in the wind.
He could be the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, the Cowardly Lion, the Wizard. I mean, he could be anything. I think.
Flying monkeys.
Flying monkey. Yeah.
I don't know if he could. I don't know about the witches.
I don't know, man. He's a good voice actor. He does a lot of animated features.
He does. Yes, he does.
I was watching Firefly the other day. There was a marathon on TV.
Nice.
So I like that. Alan Tudyk is a really, really good choice for this. I like
choice.
him a lot. Mike, who's your choice?
So I went with someone who could sing,
Mm-hmm.
a little younger. I've seen him do some nice one-liners, like Tin Man does some nice one-liners in there, and can cry on a fucking dime. I went with Jensen Ackles.
Hey, you like your
okay.
supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't I use him I used him last time for Tombstone. No love for Jared Padalecki. It's all about Jensen Ackles. That'd be interesting. I'd like to see his take on the Tin Man.
That's you all over.
See him walking up to the witch and be like, "Stop being a dick."
Check out. Let's be part of there. That's over. Well, that's you all over. Pull yourself together.
So, and he could carry a gun instead of an axe. That brings us to the Scarecrow, who I think is probably my favorite character in The Wizard of Oz. I don't know why, just something about the Scarecrow.
No, I agree.
The fact that he's
I'm the one starting this one, huh?
Companion
you
for
are.
the longest time, Yeah, you're the one starting, and I'm the one finishing. So.
All right. I think it was really. I never really thought about him before his success with his television show.
Mm-hmm.
It's unfortunate that it only had 3 seasons, but I went with Jason Sudeikis as the Scarecrow.
Ted Lasso.
Mm-hmm. Watching him and his optimism and how he just could play it, I thought that might work.
I like Jason Sudeikis. Ted Lasso was an amazing show.
Mm-hmm.
There's a video you should check out. He has Jason Sudeikis has this charity that he runs that he does this concert for every year to raise money for it. And at their most recent concert, he was singing "Shallow" from Star Is Born.
Mm-hmm.
And as it gets to the woman's part, the actress who played the owner of the team, walks out on stage. I can't think of the actress's name, but she walks out on stage and starts singing the Lady Gaga part, and she's fucking phenomenal.
Oh, she can belt it out. She's awesome.
She could have been a good Glinda.
Yeah.
It was Whittingham is her last name. I can't think of her first name. Hannah
Whittingham.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, who is your Scarecrow?
My Scarecrow. This took a little bit of thought. I wanted somebody who could sing, someone who can dance, someone could be that big brother type character for Dorothy. So I went with Hugh Jackman.
He'd be the most jacked scarecrow of all time. The Wolverine of scarecrows.
He wasn't that jacked when he did Greatest Showman. So
no, I know he gets jacked for the Wolverine role.
I'm coming for you, bub.
Anything like Les Miserables, like he did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman. I mean, Hugh Jackman's kind of like a proven commodity when it comes to musicals. So,
oh yeah,
I don't think you could go wrong with him. He's another one I think would have been a good wizard.
Is he an EGOT winner?
He has not won an Oscar yet.
Okay.
So he hasn't. I think he has an Emmy. He has a Golden Globe and a.
He's definitely got a Tony.
He doesn't have an Oscar.
Okay.
Yeah, and I thought with the three characters I have, I thought the three of them could really work good together as well.
Mm-hmm.
You think they'd harmonize?
Yeah. And he's another one I think too. You could have put in a wizard role.
Yes.
Given his Greatest Showman thing that he did, like I think he would be a good wizard character too. But I like having him in the Scarecrow because then you get him singing too. You don't get him singing as a wizard.
Yep.
Now for me, with the Scarecrow, I originally had Donald Glover. I had him in like every role. I decided I wanted to again diversify my cast a little bit, and I went with somebody fairly new to the scene. I would say he can sing, he can dance. He knows how to act with companions, and he is somebody I think would be really good for a role like this. So I went with the brand new Doctor Who, Ncuti Gatwa, who got his start on Sex Education, and now is the new Doctor. And then when I said good with companions, I thought Mike was going to think I was going to say David Tennant.
I thought you were going to say Ki Hu Kwan.
David Tennant could probably do it too.
But David Tennant would have been a really good Scarecrow. David Tennant would have been a really good wizard. A lot of actors could fill the wizard role, I think. But no, I went with the new Doctor Who, Ncuti Gatwa, as my Scarecrow. I originally had him as the Tin Man, but I was like, I need him in a role that's a little more animated. Yeah, I think he can do that just based on that one Doctor Who special. I can tell he's a pretty animated guy.
You know who could be a good Scarecrow? Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson.
Oh, wow, look at that. Oh my god.
Yeah, if he was 10 years younger, maybe.
You make him the wizard. Again, another wizard.
Follow the yellow brick road. Trying to get where you need to go. I understand. That's great, but we gotta move on. I need a brain. He needs a heart.
Wow, like paying no attention to that man behind the Where am I? Because I got to do it at some point. Where am I throwing Christopher Walken in this? It has to happen at some point. Is Christopher Walken my wizard?
Maybe.
No, you know who Christopher Walken is?
Who?
He's the guy with the horse in a different color.
Is he the guy guarding the gates? He's the guy guarding the gates.
Come back tomorrow.
Come back tomorrow. I had an A&M as well. Wow.
Well, that's a horse of a different color.
You had it in yourself all along, Darcy. All you had to do was tap your ears together 3 times.
Surrender, Dorothy.
Who's Dorothy?
Oh, we owe her. Make him one of the guards.
Oh, we owe
her.
We owe. Oh, we owe. Whoa. Whoa.
Don't rush me.
Don't rush me. If I were king of the forest, I'd have this watch up my ass before you. All right, before we get too far off the mark here, because I'm starting to feel this gin.
You got to get the...
We're going to take another quick break, play a few more promos for you. And when we come back, we're going to finish off our recasting of Wizards of Oz when the 3 of us reveal our new Dorothy. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Ron. Do you like movies? Hey, this is Ragnar. Y'all like alcohol?
Hey guys, this is Stu. Do you like punishments?
Hey, this is Goot. Do you like cinephiles?
Hey everybody, I'm Chase. Do you guys like alcohol poisoning?
If you like all of that, then check us out at Barrel Aged Flips. We're on Apple, Spotify, and all the other platforms out there.
The Deluxe Edition Network, also known as The Den, is an incredible podcast network that offers a wide variety of entertaining and informative podcasts.
With a lineup of shows covering various topics, such as interviews with a wide variety of guests, history, music, relationships, true crime, and so much more. The Den provides content that caters to a diverse range of interests.
The hosts and guests on the Deluxe Edition Network demonstrate a deep passion and expertise in their respective fields, making each episode on each show engaging and thought-provoking.
The network fosters a sense of community by encouraging listeners to interact through live chats, social media, and forums, creating an inclusive environment for discussion and sharing opinions.
With its commitment to high-quality production, the shows in the Deluxe Edition Network continue to captivate and entertain its ever-growing audience.
Whether you're a podcast enthusiast or someone looking to explore new topics, The Den is a fantastic platform to dive into and uncover fascinating insights from experts in their fields.
The Deluxe Edition Network is the home of independent awesomeness.
To find all these great podcasts in one convenient location, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
We are back from our second short break with our main segment, Recasting Wizard of Oz. Before we get to our final casting choices for the role of Dorothy, Kevin, you moved on from your original drink?
I did. I have moved on to Trogue's Mad Elf, the Mad Elf, which is a holiday ale brewed with cherries and honey. And it is 11% alcohol by volume. So I'm absolutely guaranteed to feel it.
I am still drinking. I'm fucked.
Still drinking.
Dude.
I'm still drinking the Georgia Artisan Small Batch Gin from Moonrise Distillery. 47% alcohol by volume, 94
Dude,
proof.
wasn't that up near the top of the moon?
Yeah, I was about a year earlier. Like I was like halfway through the moon.
Yeah,
but as I was saying, like I'm
You're now
mixing
down
it
to the barcode.
I'm mixing it with the Sprite that I had in my Chick-fil-A cup, but the more gin I pour in, the less Sprite seems to be there. So right now it's pretty much all gin. And Mike again is on call, so he's drinking too.
He's got apple juice in a sippy cup.
Oh man. So we're going to close out our main segment now by talking about the main character of the story, Dorothy, who was played by Judy Garland in the original 1939 film. And now we have the unenviable task of picking out somebody to replace that generational talent, Judy Garland. This is Kevin first on the mark here, or you? You, right? Okay.
That's Mike.
Back to Mike.
So, unlike Judy Garland, I went with somebody that was actually young. She was like
Garland was.
No, she was young when she did it. She was just tall
when she did that.
Yeah. She was like 17, 16, 17. I think.
She was a teenager.
I thought she was older than that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like today where, like, you know, Alan Ruck was 29 when he played Cameron in Ferris Bueller. She was actually like a teenager. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was she? I thought she was much older.
I mean, if she was anything older than that, she probably was like her 20s, early 20s, 2021. But I'm
looking it up now,
sure
gentlemen.
She was like 17 or 18 when she did that.
Came out in 39, and she was born in. That's quotes. Came out in 39, and she was born in 22. So
she was 17.
17.
17. Okay. I stand.
Because I remember reading about how the movie studios addicted her to like diet pills.
They put her on so much. Mm-hmm.
So anyway, Mike, you still pick somebody young. So who is it?
Yeah, go for it.
Someone that I didn't know could sing till recently.
Mm-hmm.
Millie Bobby Brown.
Okay. Can she sing?
Bobby Brown. Yes, she can. She can sing.
Okay.
And
I haven't seen her.
I
had to YouTube it, but yeah, I saw her.
How old is she now? She's
She's probably in her 20s.
Probably in her 20s now, right?
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know. Stranger Things has been on for 17 years now, so who knows how old she's doing.
Millie Bobby Brown is born in 2004, 20. February 19th. She's 19 now. She'll be 20.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. So she's a little older than Judy Garland was.
A little bit.
But it could still play the teenager since that's what
Mhm.
she's doing in Stranger Things right now. That brings it to me then, right?
Yes, sir.
I originally thought of Millie Bobby Brown. I kind of think she's like one of the few like young actresses right now that I can like kind of think of for a role like this. And she was my wife's choice for Dorothy. But I kind of feel like I had a feeling one of you guys was going to pick her. And I wanted to try to get through this without any of us picking the same person for anything, which we're getting close to.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I decided, so my original choice for this was Zendaya. Because A, I thought, because she could sing too. B, she still looks pretty young, even though she's in like her mid-20s now. But then I also thought like maybe she is kind of aging out of that and starting to take on roles that are a little more mature, adult. So I'm like, maybe
Euphoria. Sorry.
Yeah, Euphoria. Well, she's also in this tennis movie that's coming out now that's supposed to have like a raunchy scene in it too. So I'm like, she's moving, and she's in Dune, and it's like, she's taking these older roles now.
Mhm.
So I said, but I still stayed on the Stranger Things track, and my Dorothy is Sadie Sink, who plays Max on Stranger Things.
Max.
So I decided to put a ginger in my gingham gown.
Is that hair going to clash with the ruby slippers?
I don't know. And that all comes down to Jessica Chastain and her red hair handing her the ruby slippers. So
okay.
I got double ginger in my film.
I see this. Right.
So, but I went with Sadie Sink from she's in the Whale, the movie that Brendan Fraser just won the Oscar for.
Yeah.
She plays his daughter in it, and she is amazing in it. So I'm like, she's showing that she's a really good actress as well. So that leaves it to you, Kev. You are last on the docket.
Well, I can't say that I think I won this category, but because I don't know of her singing ability.
Well,
but
like
I think
said,
you guys will
worry about that
agree.
when I was casting.
Okay. I think you guys will agree. My choice fits perfectly.
Betty White.
My choice for Dorothy Gale was The Last of Us, Bella Ramsey.
That's a good one, man.
Isn't that?
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Bella Ramsey, who is right now on The Last of Us, but got her start as
Monmouth,
Lady was it? I can't think of the name of the character now but she was on Game of Thrones.
Monmouth?
Lady Mormont.
Mormont, yeah.
Lyanna Mormont. Yeah, she was great on Game of Thrones. She's amazing in The Last of Us.
She was in this movie called Catherine Called Birdie, which was actually pretty funny and
It was
good.
a really good movie. That's based on a book. It's based on a book that I read with my kids in high school once. It's a really good
And Megan remembered the book. She loved it. So I was thinking about it. I was like, who would I pick? And I'm thinking of, these actresses who can sing and really super pretty. It's like, no, she's a farm girl. And, she's being guided by these men. Who's a girl that's guided by men to a safe land?
So you should have Pedro Pascal in there somewhere. I kind of had the same thing. Like my actress, like Sadie Sink, is really pretty, but she can look plain too, depending on the character she's playing. Bella Ramsey is a good choice. I actually thought of Maisie Williams, who played Arya Stark, because she's small, so I feel like she can still look like a younger character, but she's in her 30s now, I think. So I think she's kind of aged out of the part as well. So I like that. Bella Ramsey. I didn't even think of her. That's a really good one. So to recap, and I'm gonna put this on social media so people can vote on who had the best cast, and we'll talk about it next time around. The Wicked Witch of the West. Every time I say Wicked Witch of the West, I think of the Producers musical when they're at the house of Roger Debris, the director, and he gets in a fight with his common law assistant. And he's like, well, why don't you go get it, oh wicked witch of the west? And the assistant's like, if your goal was to throw an arrow into my heart, bullseye. So anyway, the Wicked Witch of the West. I had Helena Bottom Carter. Mike had Lena Headey. And Kevin had Zoe Saldana. I'll tell you what, I liked my choice, but I think Mike, I think you have the edge on that one. The Lena Headey one's such a really good choice, man. I didn't even come close to thinking of that one. Glinda the Good Witch. I had Jessica Chastain. Kevin had Quentin Brunson from Abbott Elementary. And Mike had Kristen Bell. For the Wizards, I had Peter Dinklage. And Kevin and Mike had the complete opposite of Peter Dinklage, John Hamm, and Bruce Campbell. For the Cowardly Lion, I had Donald Glover. Mike had Ewan McGregor, and Kevin had Zach Galifianakis. For the Scarecrow, I had Ncuti Gatwa. Kevin had Jason Sudeikis, and Mike had Hugh Jackman. For the Tin Man, I had Skylar Astin.
Whoa. Cowardly Lion.
What?
I had Zach Galifianakis, not Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah, Jason Sudeikis for the Scarecrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Didn't you just cover
Zach
the
Galifianakis for the Lion? That's what I said.
All right.
I'm drunk, but I'm pretty sure I got that right. The Tin Man, I had Skylar Astin.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin had Alan Tudyk.
No, I had Alan Tudyk.
And Mike had Jensen Ackles. I'm going to give that one to Kevin, I think, because Alan Tudyk is a national treasure. And then for Dorothy, I had Sadie Sink. Mike had Millie Bobby Brown. And Kevin had Bella Ramsey. Yeah, I like a lot of your choices. And Mike, I like a lot of your choices. I'm starting to like my choices a little less based on some of your choices. Mike, do you have any beer trivia or history for us this evening?
I have some beer history. Belgian wit beer, which literally means white beer, dates back to the 14th century Belgium, where it was produced by monks using fermentable grains and a blend of intoxicating herbs and spices. This blend, called Groot, was what medieval brewers used to add, balancing bitterness to beer before they used hops. In the 16th century, the small town of Hogaten became famous for its version of wit beer, which they brewed with barley, wheat, and oats. There you go.
I like Hogarth.
It's funny because I'm watching Mike, at least on my computer, you're not lined up. I'm still watching you read. Like you're still reading right now. Why are you still reading?
I'm not reading. Somebody's lagging.
Somebody's got a little lag in their computer there.
Yeah, there it is. Wow. Okay. It's funny you mentioned Belgian wheat because that's what I had.
Yeah. So how was your drink tonight, Kev?
My no strings attached was good. I didn't feel connected to it really, almost as if it had no strings attached. No, this was a really good one. I think you may have brought this one back from you before, but it is
definitely a Warhorse one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very good one, and you can't go wrong with Mado.
So I am now down to this much left in my bottle that Mike got me. So I'm halfway through an overproof bottle of gin. I am going to be feeling awesome tomorrow morning. I feel awesome now, but I'm going to feel awesome.
You'll feel awesome now, but tomorrow morning, not so much.
Awesomer. Mike, how was your tea?
Relaxing.
Anyway, thank you all for joining us tonight for episode 136, the recasting of The Wizard of Oz. Like I said before, I'm going to be posting our cast choices on social media. You all can go out there and vote for us and let us know who had the best cast. We'll talk about it on next week's show, and we'll give you a little shout out. So we hope you enjoyed listening to this podcast as much as we enjoyed recording it for you. Don't forget, you can drop us an email at filmsoffermentation@gmail.com or visit linktree.com/filmsoffermentation to find all of our social media and podcast links. We are on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter and Facebook.
It's not Twitter anymore.
And all those things out there. So I still don't want to call it that. So you can go out there to find our social media and find our thing where you can vote on our cast. You can still go to Patreon to support us. Go to teespring.com to buy our merchandise that Mike and I have been modeling for you this evening on the YouTube channel. And go to deluxeeditionnetwork.com to find out about more about our podcast and the other podcasts at The Den. Don't forget to stop to don't forget I'm drunk. I'm feeling pretty happy right now. Don't forget to stop by the crossroads between pickled and fermented next time around for episode 137. We haven't decided on the title for this one yet, so I'm just going to go with You Can't Handle the Booze. You Can't Handle the Booze. The best in
court.
The best in courtroom movies. So we're going to visit the courtroom next week. Once again, I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
Thanks again, everybody, for all your support. Keep listening to the show. Let other people know about it. Help us stay relevant in the podcast community. We'll talk to you next time. Cheers, folks.
Cheers.
And remember,
we represent the lollipop guild, the lollipop guild, the lollipop guild.
Cheers.
No attention to that man behind the curtain. Wow.
Dagger? No.
Yeah, Cloak and Dagger.
Yes,
You did.
Cloak and Dagger.
Cloak and Dagger.
You did.
Yeah, because that was on my list and I had to take it off.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't on my list. Don't worry about it.
I think he's dead now. Dabney Cole? Dabney. Did he just die?
I don't know, because Tom Smothers just died, and I could have sworn he was dead already, too.
Dabney Coleman. Aren't you dead? Nope, still kicking. All right, my bad.
There was a radio show back in like the 90s. I can't remember the name of it, but they had this ongoing segment called who was the guy that played Jed Clampett on the original Beverly Hillbillies? Buddy Epson.
Yes, Buddy Epson.
They had this ongoing segment where they were going to be the last people to interview Buddy Epson before he dies, because he lived to be like 107 or something. So like every year on his birthday, they would call him and interview him just to make sure that they got it in before he died.
There's Dorothy.
Dorothy?
Who's Dorothy?
We should do
female voice, male voice, lolly voice.
we should do
The lolly voice.
The lolly voice.
We represent the lollipop guild, the lollipop guild.
everybody just tuned out right now. We just lost the whole audience. I'll squeeze that in on the bloopers or something.
Hey, this is Casey Shearer.
And this is Ray.
Do you like pop culture?
We're pretty sure you do.
Then come on over and check us out at deluxeedition.show.
You will not be sorry. Or maybe you will be. I don't know.